The other thing he said is this is a classic David Goliath thing.
He did?
Well, if I'm now facing somebody who, through this crypto thing, is sitting on 100 billion in war chest and has unlimited funding, you know, who's the Goliath out here? But, you know.
Why cryptocurrencies, I mean, you've said this, they won't work in the cross-border payment system at this time.
Well, I think...
Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Token Topics, a channel all about crypto and blockchain. I hope everyone out there is doing well and staying safe. And this is a video I want to put together because somebody was asking about the relationship between Swift and Ripple. Now, for those that have not been in the crypto space for any more than 2 years or part of the XRP community for any more than 2 years, they might not know the history on a relationship between Ripple and Swift. So this is to show any newcomers that yes, there was indeed tension between the two companies, and there most likely still is. Now, I will state that this video that I'm going to show, it's a couple years old. The video is older, but it's a brief history lesson on the relationship between Ripple and Swift, and also gives us an idea of where we are today and where we're going to be heading tomorrow. Sometimes it's really good to see these things, okay? So now I want to say that yes, things could have changed behind the scenes, okay? But as I stated in a previous video, Swift has integrated old legacy systems using GPI technology. That is the glue between the old technology and the new. So pre-funding, as far as I know, still has to be used with that. So that's where Ripple's ODL, or on-demand liquidity, could entirely replace Swift. Now, I heard from a very brilliant mind from Charles Hoskinson said that these old banking and legacy systems are going to fade away. So where would that put XRP? I think XRP is always going to stay. I think Swift is the company that's going to be run over. So someone has stated to me that XRP and Flare could have been a Trojan horse to get the new financial system on board, and then basically we're going to see banks fade away over time. So I guess we're going to see, though. So this video, we're going to go over a lot of speculation. I'm just going to tell you, a lot of connecting dots again, but also there's going to be some facts here that we're going to go over. So before I go any further, remember, I'm not a financial or legal advisor. Please don't buy anything just based on what I say, and everything in this, well, not everything. We are going to go over some facts, but there is a lot of speculation in this video, okay? So let's go ahead and listen to the full clip, the full interview of Godfrey from Swift being interviewed at the Paris FinTech Forum.
Right now, I think blockchain is more an enabling technology.
So Swift is studying blockchain at this time. Now, Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, he characterized GPI
sixth
as
largest man in the U.S., sixth richest man in the U.S.
I think for a moment there he was, wasn't he? XRP, yeah.
For a brief moment.
He described GPI as a horse and buggy, and Ripple is an automobile. I think he wanted to say race car, but he said automobile. I mean, what do you make of that? I mean, he's basically saying that you're still outdated, even though you've done this crash program.
Yeah, let's see. We'll see. We could also. There's many analogies you could use. My favorite analogy right now is I drive an electric car,
Right.
a Tesla, I have to say, and that's an interesting one. You could say Tesla is the future, and the old cars are the past. I have to say, it's a beautiful experience to have an electric car. I love the concept, but it's still an American car, and I can say if I could get a German car with German engineering and the electrical thing, that would be my choice. So if I could get correspondent banking and get the new technology inside, maybe that would be a good thing. The other thing he said is this is a classic David Goliath thing.
He did?
Well, if I'm now facing somebody who, through this crypto thing, is sitting on 100 billion in war chest and has unlimited funding, you know, who's the Goliath out here? But, you know, and well, I'm just a banking cooperative.
He'd have to convert that to fiat, and I think that would be interesting to kind of see that develop.
That would be a challenge.
But just a little bit about why cryptocurrencies, I mean, you've said this, they won't work in the cross-border payment system at this time.
Well, I think there was a recent article in which people asked banks, are they ready to embrace crypto? And the issue is with that volatility that they have right now.
The volatility.
It's the volatility. It's also the AML part of it. It was interesting. I had somebody come up at this conference to me and say, listen, have you experience with people who look at the past, the blockchain and the transaction patterns to sort of spot good Bitcoins from bad Bitcoins, AML on the blockchain? Not easy, partly because there's a whole slew of technologies to obfuscate the provenance of Bitcoin, right? If you pay ransomware, you would like to trace your coin to be able to get back your ransom later. There's essentially a number of technologies that slice and dice it to the extent that you cannot trace individual Bitcoin. So there's a number of people who try to really obfuscate Bitcoin, which makes AML in these crypto and the whole compliance a nightmare. So that's, I think, the other reason why. So it's a combination of volatility and the inability to do money laundering, anti-money laundering, and KYC checks on these things.
So for all of the innovation that's taking place in the blockchain space, DLT, crypto, where all of those things intersect when it comes to cross-border payments, your members, the world's biggest banks, medium-sized banks, et cetera, they're still not comfortable with that, and they would much prefer to use the cloud, APIs, existing technology.
I think that would be, but again, I mean, I cannot predict the future.
Right.
So we are looking at blockchain. I have a big team that is trying these proof of concepts, really versatile in the technology, etc. And who knows? The next phase after APIs, maybe that somebody finds good applications for it. We're going to be watching. I mean, Cybos this year is an interesting one. You should all come there. It will be in Sydney later this year. In Sydney is where Australia is where the biggest experiment in banking blockchain is happening right now. ASX, the Australia exchange.
Is that the real-time exchange? Or?
One is the real-time. That's not blockchain.
Oh, you're talking about with
but
Blythe
I'm
Masters,
talking about Blythe
right.
Masters and digital assets who are putting
Right.
the CSD on the blockchain. That will be a very interesting one to see how
Why
that's
is that
happening.
relevant to you?
Well, first of all, we connect a number of CSDs to the SWIFT network. So a lot of global custody, half of what we do on the network is payments instructions. The other half are global custody, cross-border custody instructions that flow over it. So we connect many of these CSDs to the custodians. But in general, it's a very interesting one to see if blockchain can really take an existing value chain and revolutionize it. And that will be, so we'll all be convening in Australia later.
So the Australian Stock Exchange experiment that Digital Asset Holdings, Blythe Masters company is doing, that is
one to watch.
Very much on your radar.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I see. That is one of the most interesting tests out there right now. Excellent. Well, Gottfried, I just want to thank you again. It's been a pleasure to conduct this interview.
All right, I'm going to put the link in the description below in case you want to watch the interview again. Now, notice that he did say that possibly after APIs that they could integrate the blockchain. Well, the whole GPI technology works with the API. So by him saying that, that gives me an indication that he does not want Ripple's technology. So, all right, I want to go to an article now. This is an older article, but like I stated, this gives us an idea of where the technology's been, where we are now, and where we're headed. Now, there are some interesting points here because I noticed that SWIFT, they had no trouble partnering with Corda, okay? But they still won't partner with Ripple, and still to this day. But here's the funny and interesting thing about Corda, is that the Corda settler uses it can use multiple currencies and also different settlement rails. For example, you don't have to just use XRP. And let me show you in this article, okay? All right, so it states in this article right here, so this means that using Corda settler, one can send XRP or dollar, and a receiver can accept the payment in an entirely different currency. So they don't have to just use XRP. Now, this is an interesting article. It's from Finextra. Now, this is several years ago, but it gives us an idea, like I said. So we've heard Godfrey. He already talked about a proof of concept working with IBM WorldWire. And so article states, my last blog was about IBM WorldWire, blockchain-based platform for global payments. Another competitor in the blockchain payments world that I've written about regularly is Ripple. Now, both are thereby targeting centralized payment messages network, SWIFT. So it's stating here in this article that, yes, Ripple is targeting SWIFT. People have to understand that all SWIFT is doing is using R3 Corda to basically use the GPI to still keep intact with old legacy systems. It's basically trying to integrate the old technology where you have Ripple, where they want to bring in complete on-demand liquidity that would eliminate all that. So before I go any further, my personal opinion is that I think that we're going through a transitional period. And what I mean by that is that we're going to see this system, we're going to slowly see SWIFT fade away. And I'm going to actually play a clip later in this video of Charles Hoskinson who's saying that too. So what does that make XRP? This is where I think XRP by itself will just be a global liquidity token, which will be a standard. All right, so it continues. IBM and Ripple, however, are not the only players in the blockchain payment world. Last year, R3 launched its new Corda settler platform using Ripple's XRP. But here it comes. In January, Swift announced a partnership with R3. So they are collaborating to test Corda settler, specifically to integrate GPI. This is what Swift is wanting to do, not Ripple. Just please get this clear with everybody. So Swift specifically to integrate GPI. So when you see GPI, automatically think Swift with the Corda settler. However, as Corda settler depends on XRP, at the time of this article, the token partnership puts Swift and Ripple, the two rivals, meaning they're in competition, in an indirect connection that will result in a love triangle or even a marriage trios. And could that work? So during the time of this article, the chosen token for Corda at the time was XRP. The only thing is that XRP could not perform the smart contracts. So that's why they have XDC now to perform the smart contracts. Correct that. Ethereum could perform the smart contracts, but there was problems with Ethereum due to the high cost, fees, and very slow transaction times. All right, so let's get a better understanding of Corda. So in December of last year, well, when this article was written, R3 announced the launch of Corda settler. Corda settler is designed in such a way to give companies a new, fast, secure, and reliable way to move crypto and traditional assets on distributed ledger. The Corda settler app is an open-source, decentralized application that runs on the Corda blockchain. It is aimed to facilitate global crypto payments across enterprise blockchain networks with Ripple's XRP as its base currency. So at the time, that was the base currency. Corda settler thereby focuses on the settlement of payment transactions between crypto and traditional assets with enterprise blockchain. So Corda settler uses XRP. Of course they do, and they always will. So both Corda and Ripple are open source blockchain platforms with a focus on serving enterprise businesses. Therefore, it makes sense that Corda selected XRP, the globally recognized cryptocurrency, as the first. So notice it's saying first. We have XDC now, but it's still a different animal. As the first and only supported cryptocurrency for the settlement. Well, now we have XDC. So the deployment of Corda settler and its support for XRP as the first settlement mechanism is an important step in showing how powerful ecosystems cultivated by the two world's most influential crypto blockchain communities can work together. While the settler will open all forms of crypto and traditional assets, this demonstration with XRP is the next logical step in showing how widespread acceptance and the use of digital assets to transfer value and make payments can be achieved. Okay. So while Ripple's XRP is the first currency supported by the Corda settler, in the future, it is very likely that R3 will make settlements in other cryptocurrencies, that's where XDC comes into play. Also other currencies too. So the Corda settler is an agnostic to which payment method is used, whether it's JPM coin, Wells Fargo coin, BAML coin, Bitcoin. Just threw that in there. All right, HSBC coin. It doesn't matter to us that we have no horse in that race and we don't have any financial incentives one way or another. We're just trying to get as many people onto the platform as possible. So it continues here. I don't want to make this too long. Let's go ahead to the Swift. Let's go right to Swift. Okay, so Swift partnership. Oh, also, by the way, I'm going to put the link to this article down below so you can look it over yourself. All right, so Swift has announced its partnership with R3 Corda settler to launch the proof of concept. The trial would see the integration of Swift's payment standards framework, GPI, as stated before. This is important for people to understand. The GPI, so when you hear a Swift, think automatically with GPI technology that they're using. So, all right, so the Corda settler to launch a proof of concept. The trial would see the integration the interaction of Swiss Payment Standard Framework GPI with R3's trade finance platform. So following the recent launch of the Corda settler allowing for the payment obligations raised under Corda platform, it was a logical extension to plug into Swift GPI. The Swift GPI has rapidly become the new standard to settle payments. So right here, and this is all before the lawsuit that came into play and stuff like that. This is why I said that I think it was multiple things that was pressuring Jay Clayton to do it. I really do. So continuing here, that Swift GPI has rapidly become the new standard, as I stated. All right, so all blockchain applications running on Corda will thus benefit from the fast, secure, and transparent settlement provided through Swift GPI banks. So honestly, this is truly Ripple's rival, is GPI. So global payments innovation, the trial will integrate Swift GPI link cross-border payments gateway with R3 Corda's settler platform to enable the continuous monitoring and control of the payment flows. The settlement payments through their bank and receive credit information, Swift and GPI in a messaging system based on existing messaging standards. So it's still an old messaging system. So I'm going to go ahead and show a clip of Godfrey from Swift actually explaining about this proof of concept. This is the proof of concept experiment that they were talking about in this conversation, and Swift did not have a good report about it. Well, they said it did work, but here, listen to what he says.
Gottfried, why not use Ripple's technology to do that?
Because, well, we'll have to see. I think what we are seeing, we had a long discussion about blockchain versus API. What we could see is the API technology, which is at the heart of what we do with GPI, is here today, and banks are able to integrate it. Blockchain, we think, is further out. We've run a large proof of concept with blockchain to several proof of concepts, I should say. One of them to put it inside the reconciliation between banks, Nostro Vostro, the account reconciliation between banks. We had 40 banks participate in that. It was the largest hyperledger implementation outside IBM, really big. 500 bilateral relationships on the blockchain, 500 individual blockchains being run. When we evaluated it with banks, they said, yeah, it works as a proof of concept, but it's not clear to us that it's that much better than what we have today, given the migration cost. And a lot of it is about the banks themselves who have to migrate and be interoperating with that new platform. We find that for them it's much easier to integrate with APIs and what we're now offering them with GPI than it is with blockchain.
So realistically, I see this as GPI versus Ripple. So the proof of concept from what he was talking about was exactly in that article. I'll show you again. All right, so this was the trial. It said, end of January, Swift announced its partnership with R3 Corda settler to launch a proof of concept. This trial will see the interaction of Swift's payment standards framework, GPI, Global Payments Innovation, with R3's trade finance. And as you can hear from Godfrey, banks aren't ready for it, according to him. But he truly is pushing that GPI. All right, in case the volume was kind of messed up on that last clip, some of these videos, they have different volume settings, so I got to adjust them. Let me play this again. I turned the volume up. Sorry about that.
We will see that evolution thanks to the transparency that the platform provides.
Gottfried, why not use Ripple's technology to do that?
Because, well, we'll have to see. I think what we are seeing, we had a long discussion about blockchain versus API. What we could see is the API technology, which is at the heart of what we do with GPI, is here today, and banks are able to integrate it. Blockchain, we think, is further out. We've run a large proof of concept with blockchain to several proof of concepts, I should say. One of them to put it inside the reconciliation between banks, Nostro Vostro, the account reconciliation between banks. We had 40 banks participate in that. It was the largest hyperledger implementation outside IBM, really big. 500 bilateral relationships on the blockchain, 500 individual blockchains being run. When we evaluated it with banks, they said, yeah, it works as a proof of concept, but it's not clear to us that it's that much better than what we have today, given the migration cost. And a lot of it is about the...
All right, so in this clip I'm going to play Charles Hoskinson. He's explaining how the old legacy systems are going to fade away with this new technology that's being implemented. Now, and this is just speculation, guys. Please take it with a grain of salt. But I was thinking about a statement that I saw about how XRP and Flare finance. I'm going to look more into Flare finance. I've only gone over a little bit, but how they could have been possibly a Trojan horse. So go ahead and give this guy a listen.
All there. Once mankind knows they have fire, you can't go back. You can't change that. You can't put that genie back in the bottle. Central banks will fade away. It's just going to happen. Your conventional legacy banks are going to fade away. The payment rails that are so nepotistic and corrupt and slow and inefficient and expensive will fade away. And good riddance. It wasn't us who charged 15% to some of the poorest people in the world to move their money home to take care of their parents. It was the people who ran the old system. It wasn't us in this industry who charged 85% interest to lend $100 to a subsistence farmer desperately trying to survive after a drought. It was the legacy financial system. It wasn't our industry that laundered hundreds of billions of dollars for drug dealers and evaded sanctions and participated in oil for food and all kinds of these horrible programs that ended up enriching and empowering some of the worst human beings the world has ever known. It was a legacy financial system. And never allow them to say that ours is the industry that's the risk. Ours is the industry that's the antidote to the excesses, corruption, and nepotism that we've found. This is an industry of frustration that has now been replaced by an industry of creativity and innovation. We're going to change the world. It's just that simple. We didn't ask permission. We came here and we're going to get it done together. And
awesome, powerful words from Charles Hoskinson. I'm going to put the link to this video down below. And it was interesting how he said that we're going to see these old legacy systems fade away. So with that being said, somebody might say, well, isn't XRP a banker's coin? So the technology was built to provide transactions for banks, yes, but it's still able for financial institutions to also use it. It's decent. As the network is growing, what I was really trying to reach out to people is, could somebody call it a banker's coin? Yes, they could call it because the technology was made and created for cross-border payments for banks, but also other financial institutions, all right? I see more of XRP as not so much just a banker's coin, but I'll add on that I think it's going to be used as a reserve, basically a global bridge currency, a token for liquidity that anybody can use. You don't have to. Does the XRP need the banks to live, or do the banks need XRP to live? So that's the question right there. So a person can send and receive XRP to any other financial institution, even a private entity can receive XRP without a bank. So just put that to thought. All right, so now I want to bring you to another, it's an older article, like I said, though, but we're kind of connecting the dots. We're seeing where we're headed. So Ripple's CEO, I've actually seen some videos and I was searching for the video, and he stated it a few times, okay, that he's basically said that they're taking over Swift. So this is kind of like Swift's like last leg, and I think they're trying to buy so much time. So I hope that this clears up any kind of confusion if people are thinking that, hey, Swift is always going to be here, they're using R3. That's true, but they're using GPI technology, and I think it's this transition. As Charles Hoskinson said, now nobody knows the future, okay? But if we are transitioning, it wasn't going to be it was going to allow, Swift was going to be allowed to integrate the GPI with the legacy systems, and then we're going to see it faded away. And that's personally my opinion, but go ahead and comment down below your opinions, guys. I really want to see what's on your minds and so forth. So, but anyway, let's go over this article. So Ripple's XRP Brad Garlinghouse says that Ripple is taking over Swift. All right, so it states here that XRP is redefining its presence in the market, particularly the remittance sector. This sector has been dominated by traditional systems like Swift. However, the chief executive officer, Brad Garlinghouse, reckons that the network is taking over Swift's market share by a bang. Moreover, in a recent interview with Bloomberg, and CEO clarified that the rumors of Ripple's Swift integrations are just that, rumors, he clarified. So there have been multiple times where Ripple has gone to Swift and trying to create a partnership, and I've shown clips in that before. So in the link, I'm going to put a few links to some videos that I recently made to any newcomers that find this video interesting. I'm going to put XRP is legend, and then another video, and that'll give you some good information to go over. And remember though, it's all speculation. There are a lot of facts in these videos, but we also try to connect some dots and have fun and try to speculate. So, all right, I'm going to tell everybody right now that one of my favorite channels to watch is Digital Asset Investor. I think he's a very smart man, and I like to have as an environment of grown-ups on this channel too, not children. And so there's a lot of information out there, and I think that if we come together as a community, we can learn a lot. And that's one of the beautiful things about the internet and social media, is that if we do bring our knowledge together in numbers, we can solve probably a lot of things. But after doing some thinking about this, we are in the crisis that we are with liquidity and so forth. Now imagine if the whole banking system collapsed and we said, you know what, we're just going to go completely digital. We don't need banks, they're gone. Do you know that possibly could cause a major collapse? Not everybody's ready for this technology, guys. What is it, like 1% or something like that, less than that, of the world's population's into crypto? Now, do you think that if we just let the banking system and this financial trade gap that's in the world right now, we just let it go and say, hey, we'll just go to this? I think there has to be a gradual transitional change from, that's why we have these old legacy systems. It's almost like Swift is getting thrown a bone and saying, you know, you're on your last leg. This is the way it's going to be. But not everybody is ready for this technology. So if it would have been a serious, abrupt change, I don't think it would have went over well. It could have even started maybe a world war. We would have had a huge collapse. So unfortunately, we still need the banks during this transition. But as Charles Hoskinson stated, that he sees a lot of these legacy systems fading away and the banking system fading away. So where does that leave XRP? As I stated before, though, it's going to be fully, as the system network grows, it's fully decentralized. We won't even need the banks. With Flare Finance, this is another topic I want to talk about. Flare Finance, that is going to be the true new banking system, where you can get loans and so forth and all your financial needs on that platform or program. So I'm tired, guys. It's been a mouthful. But yeah, go ahead and comment down below your thoughts, your opinions. And I want to say thanks, guys, so much for watching another edition of Token Topics. You all take care and stay safe.